Boring Secrets for Sleep, the hidden psychology lab called your grocery store. Hello, and welcome to the Bedtime Professor. Find a comfortable position. Let your shoulders relax, release the tension in your jaw, and allow your breathing to become slow and steady. There's nothing for you to do now but rest and listen. In your neighborhood, perhaps just a few blocks away, stands a building of such profound familiarity that it has become almost invisible. It is a simple structure, a humble temple to the most basic of human needs. It is the grocery store. You have walked its aisles thousands of times. You know the gentle hum of its fluorescent lights, the cool touch of its metal shopping carts, the familiar arrangement of its colorful displays. You know the soft background music that plays as you shop, the subtle scents that drift from the bakery section, the way the produce gleams under carefully positioned spotlights. It is a place of quiet routine, so deeply integrated into the rhythm of your weekly life that you no longer truly see it. It is, for all intents and purposes, boring. But what if this simple, boring building has a secret, a hidden purpose, locked away behind the mundane facade of everyday commerce? What if this place, which you visit without a second thought, is actually one of the most sophisticated psychological laboratories ever created? What if every step you take, every glance you cast, every decision you make within its walls is being carefully observed, measured, and manipulated by invisible forces? What if the grocery store is not just a place to buy food, but a carefully engineered environment designed to reach inside your mind and alter your behavior in ways you never imagined possible? Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, we are going to unlock that secret. We will journey into the hidden world of retail psychology, where teams of researchers spend their days studying your every movement, where architects design spaces not for your convenience but for your manipulation, and where the simple act of buying groceries becomes a complex dance between your conscious intentions and forces that operate far below the threshold of your awareness. We will discover how a handful of brilliant minds transformed the innocent grocery store into something far more sinister. A laboratory where you are both the subject and the experiment, where your wallet is the dependent variable, and where the hypothesis is always the same. How much more can we make you spend? So close your eyes, quiet your mind, and let us enter the laboratory. Part 1. The Birth of the Laboratory. To understand how the modern grocery store became a psychological laboratory, we must first travel back to a time when shopping was a simpler, more innocent affair. Let us drift back to the 1940s, to a world where grocery stores were straightforward places of business, where the relationship between merchant and customer was direct and honest, where the arrangement of goods was dictated by practical considerations rather than psychological manipulation. In this earlier era, grocery stores were typically small, family-owned establishments. The proprietor knew his customers by name, understood their needs, and arranged his modest inventory in a logical, functional manner. Produce was near the entrance because it was delivered fresh each morning. Canned goods lined the walls because they were heavy and stable. The cash register sat prominently at the front, a simple transaction point where money changed hands for goods received. There was no hidden agenda, no carefully orchestrated journey through a maze of temptation. Shopping was a task to be completed efficiently, not an experience to be prolonged and manipulated. But in the aftermath of World War II, as America entered an era of unprecedented prosperity and suburban expansion, a new vision of retail began to emerge. And at the center of this transformation was a brilliant, ambitious architect whose ideas would fundamentally reshape not just how we shop, but how we think, feel, and behave in commercial spaces. His name was Victor David Grunbaum, though he would become known to the world as Victor Gruen. Born in Vienna in 1903 to a middle-class Jewish family, Gruen had studied at the prestigious Vienna Academy of Fine Arts, where he absorbed the modernist principles that would later inform his revolutionary approach to retail design. He was a man of broad intellectual interests, not just an architect, but a committed socialist who, in his younger years, had even run a political cabaret theater in Vienna's Naschmarkt district. But in 1938, as the Nazi shadow fell across Austria, Gruen's comfortable world collapsed. Like so many others, he was forced to flee his homeland, arriving in New York City with little more than his architectural training and a burning ambition to rebuild his life in America. He began modestly, designing small retail shops and storefronts, but even in these early projects, there were hints of the revolutionary thinking that would later transform the entire retail landscape. Gruen understood something that most of his contemporaries did not: that shopping was not merely a functional activity, but a deeply psychological one. He recognized that the physical environment of a store could profoundly influence a customer's emotional state, their decision-making processes, and, ultimately, their spending behavior. Where others saw simple transactions, Gruen saw complex psychological interactions that could be studied, understood, and optimized. In 1950, Gruen founded Victor Gruen Associates, and it was from this platform that he would launch his assault on the traditional retail model. His first major project was Northland Center near Detroit, completed in 1954, which he designed as an entirely new kind of shopping environment. But it was his next project that would truly establish his reputation as the father of modern retail psychology. Southdale Center in Edina, Minnesota, which opened in 1956 as America's first fully enclosed, climate-controlled shopping mall. Southdale was not merely a collection of stores under one roof. It was a carefully engineered psychological environment, designed to create what Gruen called a sense of place that would encourage customers to linger, explore, and spend. The mall featured a central courtyard with living trees, flowing water, and comfortable seating areas. The lighting was soft and flattering, the temperature perfectly controlled, the acoustics carefully tuned to create a pleasant ambient soundscape. Every detail was calculated to create a feeling of comfort and well-being that would put shoppers in a receptive, spending mood. But Gruen's most significant innovation was not any single design element. It was his recognition that the layout of a retail space could be used as a tool of psychological manipulation. He understood that by controlling the flow of foot traffic, by strategically placing anchor stores and creating deliberate obstacles and diversions, he could influence not just where customers went, but how they felt and what they bought along the way. The traditional grid layout of most stores, with its straight aisles and logical organization, made it easy for customers to find what they needed and leave quickly. Gruen's revolutionary insight was that this efficiency was actually counterproductive from a business standpoint. Instead, he began to experiment with more circuitous layouts, with curved pathways and unexpected turns that would slow customers down and expose them to more merchandise. He discovered that when customers became slightly disoriented, when they lost track of their original intentions and found themselves wandering through areas they hadn't planned to visit, they became more susceptible to impulse purchases. He called this phenomenon controlled confusion, and it would become one of the foundational principles of modern retail design. But perhaps Gruen's most important contribution to the science of retail psychology was his recognition that shopping could be transformed from a chore into a form of entertainment. He understood that if customers could be made to associate shopping with pleasure rather than necessity, they would spend more time in stores and, inevitably, more money. To achieve this transformation, Gruen began to incorporate elements typically associated with entertainment venues into his retail designs. He added comfortable seating areas where shoppers could rest and socialize. He included restaurants and cafes that would encourage customers to extend their visits. He created central gathering spaces with fountains, sculptures, and other aesthetic attractions that would serve as destinations in their own right. Most importantly, he began to pay careful attention to what he called the psychological journey of the shopping experience. He mapped out the emotional trajectory that he wanted customers to follow from the moment they entered a store until the moment they left. He wanted them to begin with a sense of excitement and anticipation, to experience moments of discovery and delight as they moved through the space, and to leave with a feeling of satisfaction and the desire to return. This psychological mapping required an unprecedented level of attention to detail. Every sight line, every color choice, every texture and material was evaluated not just for its aesthetic appeal, but for its psychological impact. Gruen and his team began to study how different design elements affected customer behavior, conducting what were essentially psychological experiments within the retail environment. They discovered, for example, that certain colors could influence mood and spending behavior. Warm colors like red and orange created a sense of urgency and excitement that encouraged quick decisions and impulse purchases. Cool colors like blue and green created a sense of calm and trust that was ideal for areas where customers needed to make more considered purchases. They learned that the height of ceilings could affect how customers perceived the value of merchandise, with higher ceilings creating a sense of luxury and prestige. They found that the placement of mirrors could influence both the flow of foot traffic and customers' self-perception. Strategically placed mirrors could make spaces appear larger and more open, encouraging exploration. But they could also make customers more self-conscious about their appearance, potentially influencing their purchasing decisions in clothing and cosmetics sections. Perhaps most significantly, they began to understand the importance of what they called transition zones, the psychological spaces between different areas of a store where customers' mindsets shifted from one mode of thinking to another. By carefully designing these transition zones, they could influence how customers approached different product categories and prime them for specific types of purchasing decisions. As word of Gruen's innovations spread throughout the retail industry, other architects and designers began to adopt and refine his techniques. What had begun as one man's intuitive understanding of the psychology of shopping evolved into a systematic science, with its own research methodologies, its own body of literature, and its own community of practitioners. By the early 1960s, the transformation was complete. The innocent, straightforward grocery store of the 1940s had evolved into something far more sophisticated and manipulative. What had once been a simple place of commerce had become a carefully engineered psychological laboratory, designed not just to meet customers' needs, but to create needs they didn't know they had. And at the center of this transformation was a profound shift in the relationship between retailer and customer. No longer were they simply merchant and buyer, engaged in a straightforward exchange of goods for money. They had become experimenter and subject, with the customer's mind as the field of study and their wallet as the measure of success. The laboratory had been born, and there would be no going back. Part 2. The Architecture of Influence. With the theoretical foundation laid by Victor Gruen and his contemporaries, the grocery store began its transformation from a simple marketplace into a sophisticated instrument of psychological manipulation. But to truly understand the depth of this transformation, we must examine the specific architectural and design strategies that convert an ordinary building into what researchers would later recognize as one of the most effective behavioral modification environments ever created. The moment you step through the automatic doors of a modern grocery store, you are entering what psychologists call a designed environment. A space where every element, from the width of the aisles to the height of the ceiling, has been carefully calculated to influence your behavior in specific, measurable ways. You are no longer simply a customer. You have become a subject in an ongoing experiment, and the store itself is the laboratory. The first tool in this arsenal of influence is what retail psychologists call the decompression zone. This is the area immediately inside the entrance, typically extending about 15 to 20 feet into the store. Research has shown that when customers first enter a retail environment, they need a few moments to adjust to the new sensory input, the change in lighting, temperature, sound, and visual stimulation. During this brief adjustment period, customers are essentially blind to their surroundings, unable to process information or make purchasing decisions effectively. Understanding this psychological reality, grocery store designers deliberately leave the decompression zone relatively free of merchandise or promotional displays. Instead, they use this space to begin the process of psychological conditioning. The lighting is typically brighter and more welcoming than the exterior, creating an immediate sense of comfort and refuge. The flooring often changes from the utilitarian concrete of the sidewalk to something more luxurious. Polished stone, warm wood, or richly colored tile that signals to customers that they have entered a special, elevated environment. But the most important function of the decompression zone is directional. Subtle visual cues, the angle of the flooring patterns, the placement of displays, the positioning of shopping carts, all work together to guide customers in a specific direction. In Western cultures, where people read from left to right, there is a natural tendency to turn right upon entering a space. Grocery stores exploit this psychological bias, using it to control the initial flow of foot traffic and ensure that customers begin their shopping journey in precisely the area the store wants them to visit first. That area is almost invariably the produce section, and its placement is no accident. Fresh fruits and vegetables serve multiple psychological functions that make them ideal for beginning the shopping experience. First, they create what researchers call a health halo, an immediate association with freshness, nutrition, and wholesomeness that puts customers in a positive, guilt-free mindset about their shopping choices. When customers begin their shopping experience surrounded by healthy, natural foods, they are more likely to feel good about the less healthy impulse purchases they might make later in their journey. The produce section also serves as a powerful sensory primer. The bright colors of fresh fruits and vegetables, the deep red of ripe tomatoes, the vibrant green of fresh lettuce, the sunny yellow of ripe bananas, create an immediate mood lift that retail psychologists call chromotherapy. These colors trigger the release of positive neurotransmitters that make customers feel happier and more optimistic, emotional states that are directly correlated with increased spending. The textures and aromas of fresh produce add additional layers of sensory stimulation. The rough skin of an orange, the smooth surface of an apple, the soft give of a ripe peach. All of these tactile experiences engage the customer's sense of touch, creating a more immersive and memorable shopping experience. The natural fragrances of fresh fruits and herbs trigger positive associations with health, home, and nurturing, further enhancing the customer's emotional state. But perhaps most importantly, the produce section serves as what psychologists call an anchor point, a reference that influences all subsequent purchasing decisions. When customers begin their shopping experience in an area associated with health and virtue, they are more likely to justify less virtuous purchases later. Having filled their cart with fresh vegetables, they feel they have earned the right to indulge in ice cream or cookies. This psychological phenomenon, known as moral licensing, is one of the most powerful tools in the grocery store's arsenal of influence. From the produce section, customers are guided into what retail designers call the racetrack, the main pathway that circles the perimeter of the store. This layout, which has become virtually universal in modern grocery stores, is based on a fundamental insight into human psychology. When given a choice between turning left or right, most people will choose the path that allows them to keep the wall on their right side. This preference, rooted in ancient survival instincts, creates a predictable traffic pattern that store designers can exploit. The racetrack layout serves several psychological functions. First, it ensures that customers are exposed to the maximum amount of merchandise during their shopping trip. By forcing customers to travel around the perimeter of the store, the layout exposes them to product categories they might not have intended to visit. Second, it creates a sense of journey or exploration that transforms the mundane task of grocery shopping into something more engaging and entertaining. But the racetrack's most insidious function is temporal. By forcing customers to take a longer, more circuitous route through the store, the layout increases the amount of time they spend shopping. And time, researchers have discovered, is directly correlated with spending. For every additional minute a customer spends in a grocery store, they typically spend an additional $1. The racetrack layout can easily add 10 to 15 minutes to a shopping trip, translating directly into increased sales. The positioning of essential items along this racetrack is no accident. Milk, bread, and eggs, the items that bring most customers to the store in the first place, are strategically placed at the far corners of the store, forcing customers to travel the maximum distance and pass the maximum number of tempting displays. This strategy, known as destination positioning, ensures that even customers who intend to make only a quick trip for essentials will be exposed to hundreds of other products along the way. The aisles that branch off from the main racetrack are themselves carefully engineered psychological environments. The width of these aisles is calculated to create what researchers call optimal crowding, narrow enough to create a sense of intimacy and focus, but wide enough to prevent feelings of claustrophobia or anxiety. The height of the shelving is designed to create a sense of abundance and variety, while still allowing customers to see over the displays to maintain their spatial orientation. But it is in the design of these aisles that we encounter one of the most sophisticated examples of psychological manipulation in the modern grocery store. The deliberate creation of what Victor Gruen originally called controlled confusion, but which has since become known as the Gruen effect. The Gruen effect occurs when customers, overwhelmed by the sheer variety of choices and the complexity of the store layout, lose track of their original shopping intentions and become susceptible to impulse purchases. This disorientation is not accidental. It is carefully engineered through a combination of design elements that work together to overwhelm the customer's cognitive processing capacity. The first element is visual complexity. Modern grocery stores typically stock between 40,000 and 50,000 different products, creating a level of visual stimulation that can quickly overwhelm the human brain's ability to process information systematically. The bright colors of packaging, the constant movement of other shoppers, the flickering of fluorescent lights, the endless variety of shapes and sizes. All of these elements combine to create what psychologists call cognitive overload. When the brain becomes overwhelmed by too much information, it begins to rely more heavily on emotional and intuitive decision-making rather than rational analysis. This shift from System 2 thinking, deliberate, analytical, conscious, to System 1 thinking, fast, automatic, emotional, makes customers far more susceptible to impulse purchases and marketing manipulation. The second element is spatial disorientation. Many grocery stores deliberately design their layouts to be slightly confusing and difficult to navigate. Aisles may not run in perfectly straight lines, but may curve slightly or be interrupted by displays. The numbering system for aisles may not be entirely logical, forcing customers to search for the products they need. Essential items may be moved periodically, ensuring that even regular customers cannot shop entirely on autopilot. This spatial disorientation serves multiple purposes. First, it slows customers down, increasing the time they spend in the store and their exposure to merchandise. Second, it forces customers to actively explore areas of the store they might not otherwise visit, increasing the likelihood of unplanned purchases. Third, it creates a mild state of stress and anxiety that can actually enhance the pleasure customers feel when they finally locate the items they're seeking, a psychological phenomenon known as relief purchasing. The third element is temporal disorientation. Most grocery stores are deliberately designed to obscure the passage of time. Windows are minimized or eliminated entirely, preventing customers from tracking the movement of the sun. Clocks are rare or entirely absent. The lighting is kept constant, creating an artificial environment where time seems suspended. Background music is often programmed to play in seamless loops without clear beginnings or endings, further contributing to the sense of temporal displacement. This temporal disorientation is crucial to the Gruen effect, because it prevents customers from maintaining their sense of urgency about completing their shopping tasks. When customers lose track of time, they are more likely to linger, browse, and make impulse purchases. They are also less likely to stick strictly to their shopping lists, since the pressure to complete their tasks efficiently has been artificially reduced. The checkout area represents the final stage of architectural manipulation, and it is here that the store makes its last, most aggressive attempt to extract additional revenue from customers. The positioning of the checkout lanes is carefully calculated to create what researchers call queue psychology, the strategic use of waiting time to encourage additional purchases. The lanes are typically positioned so that customers must pass through a gauntlet of impulse items: candy, magazines, small household goods, while they wait in line. The selection of these items is not random. They are chosen based on extensive research into the psychology of waiting and the types of purchases people are most likely to make when they are bored, anxious, or impatient. The height of the shelving in the checkout area is deliberately lowered to create a sense of intimacy and to make the impulse items more accessible. The lighting is often brighter and more focused, drawing attention to the merchandise. The placement of items is carefully calculated based on eye-level research. The most expensive and highest margin items are placed at adult eye level, while children's items are positioned lower to catch the attention of young shoppers. Even the speed of the checkout process is carefully managed. Lines that move too quickly don't give customers enough time to browse the impulse items. Lines that move too slowly create frustration and anxiety that can negatively impact the customer's overall shopping experience. The optimal speed is just slow enough to encourage browsing, but fast enough to maintain customer satisfaction. The culmination of all these design elements is a shopping environment that systematically undermines customers' rational decision-making processes and makes them more susceptible to the store's influence. The customer who entered with a clear list of needed items and a firm intention to shop efficiently finds themselves wandering through unfamiliar aisles, picking up products they hadn't planned to buy, spending far more time and money than they had originally intended. This is not an accident or a side effect of poor design. It is the intended outcome of a carefully engineered system, a psychological laboratory designed to study and manipulate human behavior for commercial purposes. And, as we shall see, the architectural manipulation of the physical environment is only the beginning of the story. The grocery store has become a sophisticated machine for behavioral modification, a place where the ancient art of commerce has been transformed into a precise science of psychological manipulation. Every element of the environment, from the moment you enter until the moment you leave, has been carefully calibrated to influence your thoughts, emotions, and actions in ways that serve the store's commercial interests. And the most remarkable thing about this manipulation is how invisible it remains. Most customers are completely unaware that they are being systematically influenced by their environment. They experience the grocery store as a neutral, functional space, never realizing that they are actually subjects in an ongoing psychological experiment, participants in a vast laboratory dedicated to understanding and exploiting the deepest aspects of human nature. Part 3. The Sensory Assault. While the architectural manipulation of space provides the foundation for the grocery store's psychological influence, it is through the careful orchestration of sensory experiences that this influence becomes truly powerful. Every sense, sight, sound, smell, touch, and even taste, is systematically exploited to create an environment that bypasses rational thought and speaks directly to the emotional and instinctual parts of the human brain. The science of sensory manipulation in retail environments began to develop in earnest during the 1970s, as researchers started to understand the profound ways in which environmental stimuli could influence human behavior. They discovered that sensory experiences could trigger powerful psychological and physiological responses that occurred below the threshold of conscious awareness, making them particularly effective tools for behavioral modification. The most pervasive of these sensory manipulations is sound. From the moment you enter a grocery store, you are immersed in a carefully curated auditory environment designed to influence your mood, your pace of movement, and your purchasing decisions. This is not simply background music. It is what researchers call atmospheric music, a precisely engineered tool of psychological manipulation. The tempo of the music is perhaps the most important variable. Studies have shown that slow-tempo music, typically between 60 and 72 beats per minute, causes customers to move more slowly through the store, spending more time browsing and examining products. This increased dwell time translates directly into increased sales, with some studies showing sales increases of up to 38% when slow music is played compared to fast music. But the manipulation goes far deeper than simple tempo. The genre, instrumentation, and even the key signature of the music are all carefully selected to create specific psychological effects. Classical music, for example, has been shown to encourage customers to purchase more expensive items, as it creates associations with sophistication and luxury. Jazz music creates a sense of creativity and spontaneity that encourages impulse purchases. Easy listening and soft rock create feelings of comfort and familiarity that make customers more likely to linger and explore. The volume of the music is also precisely calibrated. Too loud, and it creates stress and anxiety that makes customers want to leave quickly. Too soft, and it fails to mask the ambient noise of the store, the hum of refrigeration units, the beeping of cash registers, the conversations of other shoppers, creating an unpleasant auditory environment. The optimal volume is just loud enough to create a pleasant auditory cocoon that isolates customers from external distractions while remaining subliminal enough that they are not consciously aware of being manipulated. Perhaps most insidiously, many grocery stores now use what is called programmed music, carefully sequenced playlists that are designed to guide customers through specific emotional states as they move through their shopping journey. The music in the produce section might be bright and energetic, creating feelings of health and vitality. As customers move into the packaged goods aisles, the music might become more relaxed and contemplative, encouraging careful consideration of product choices. Near the checkout area, the music might become slightly more upbeat, creating a sense of satisfaction and completion. The timing of these musical transitions is not random. Research has shown that most customers follow predictable paths through grocery stores, spending approximately the same amount of time in each section. By synchronizing the music to these patterns, stores can create what researchers call emotional choreography, a precisely timed sequence of mood manipulations that guide customers through predetermined emotional states. But sound is only one element in the sensory assault. Equally important is the manipulation of scent, which researchers have discovered can have even more powerful effects on behavior than music. The human olfactory system is directly connected to the limbic brain, the ancient emotional core of our neural architecture, which means that scents can trigger immediate, powerful emotional responses that bypass rational thought entirely. Grocery stores exploit this connection through a technique called scent marketing, or olfactory branding. Artificial scents are pumped through the store's ventilation system, creating specific aromatic environments in different sections. The bakery section might be infused with the scent of fresh bread or vanilla, even when no baking is actually taking place. The produce section might feature artificial, fresh scents that enhance the perception of freshness and quality. The cleaning products aisle might be subtly scented with pine or lemon to reinforce associations with cleanliness and effectiveness. These artificial scents are not random. They are carefully selected based on extensive research into the psychological effects of different aromas. Vanilla, for example, has been shown to increase customers' willingness to pay premium prices, as it creates associations with luxury and indulgence. Citrus scents create feelings of energy and alertness that can increase the pace of shopping and encourage quick purchasing decisions. Floral scents create feelings of calm and contentment that encourage browsing and exploration. The intensity of these scents is carefully controlled through sophisticated scent delivery systems that can adjust the concentration of different aromas throughout the day. During busy periods, when the store wants to move customers through quickly, energizing scents like peppermint or citrus might be intensified. During slower periods, when the store wants to encourage browsing and exploration, more relaxing scents like lavender or vanilla might be emphasized. But perhaps the most sophisticated application of scent marketing involves what researchers call scent congruence, the matching of artificial scents to product categories in ways that enhance sales. Studies have shown that when the ambient scent matches the product being sold, customers are more likely to purchase and willing to pay higher prices. A subtle apple scent in the produce section, a coffee aroma near the coffee displays, a chocolate fragrance in the candy aisle. All of these create subconscious associations that make products seem fresher, more appealing, and more desirable. The timing of scent delivery is also carefully orchestrated. Research has shown that the human nose adapts to constant odors within minutes, making them effectively invisible to conscious perception. To maintain their effectiveness, artificial scents are often delivered in carefully timed pulses, intense enough to register subconsciously, but intermittent enough to prevent adaptation. The manipulation of visual stimuli is equally sophisticated. Lighting, color, and visual design are all carefully orchestrated to create specific psychological effects. The lighting in most grocery stores is not simply functional, it is what designers call retail lighting, a complex system designed to enhance product appeal while manipulating customer behavior. Different types of lighting are used in different areas of the store to create specific effects. In the produce section, full-spectrum lighting that mimics natural sunlight is used to make fruits and vegetables appear fresher and more vibrant. This lighting contains specific wavelengths that enhance the natural colors of produce, making red tomatoes appear redder, green lettuce more vibrant, and yellow bananas more appealing. The psychological effect is immediate and powerful. Customers perceive the produce as fresher and higher quality than it actually is. In the meat department, lighting with a slightly reddish tint is used to make meat appear redder and fresher. This specialized lighting, often called meat lights, contains wavelengths that enhance the red pigments in meat, while suppressing the brown and gray tones that develop as meat ages. The result is meat that appears fresher and more appealing than it would under neutral lighting. In the bakery section, warm, golden lighting creates associations with home and comfort, making baked goods appear more appealing and appetizing. This lighting mimics the warm glow of a home kitchen, triggering subconscious associations with nurturing, comfort, and indulgence that make customers more likely to purchase baked goods. The intensity of lighting is also carefully controlled. Brighter lighting creates feelings of energy and alertness that encourage quick decision-making and impulse purchases. This type of lighting is often used in areas where stores want to encourage rapid purchasing decisions, near promotional displays, in impulse purchase areas, and around sale items. Dimmer lighting creates feelings of intimacy and relaxation that encourage browsing and contemplation. This lighting is often used in areas where stores want customers to spend more time considering their purchases, in wine sections, specialty food areas, and premium product displays. Many stores also use what is called accent lighting, focused, intense lighting on specific products or displays. This technique draws attention to particular items while creating the impression that they are special or premium. The psychological effect is similar to stage lighting. The highlighted products appear more important and desirable than those in normal lighting. Color psychology plays an equally important role in the visual manipulation of customers. The colors used in signage, displays, and even the store's overall design scheme are all selected based on their known psychological effects. Red creates feelings of urgency and excitement, making it ideal for sale signs and promotional displays. The color red has been shown to increase heart rate and blood pressure, creating a physiological state of arousal that encourages quick decision-making. Blue creates feelings of trust and reliability, making it popular for store branding and informational signage. Blue has a calming effect on the nervous system, reducing anxiety and creating feelings of security that make customers more comfortable making larger purchases. Green creates associations with health and nature, making it perfect for organic and natural product sections. Green has been shown to have a relaxing effect, while also creating associations with freshness and vitality. Yellow creates feelings of happiness and optimism, often used in areas where stores want to encourage positive associations with their brand. Yellow stimulates mental activity, and it can increase attention, making it effective for drawing attention to specific products or promotions. The strategic use of color extends beyond simple signage to the overall visual environment of the store. The flooring, wall colors, and even the color of shopping carts are all chosen to create specific psychological effects. Warm colors like red, orange, and yellow create feelings of energy and excitement that encourage quick shopping and impulse purchases. Cool colors like blue, green, and purple create feelings of calm and relaxation that encourage browsing and contemplation. But the visual manipulation goes beyond simple color choices. The entire visual environment is designed to create what psychologists call controlled visual complexity. Just enough visual stimulation to keep customers engaged and interested, but not so much that they become overwhelmed and stressed. Product displays are arranged to create pleasing visual rhythms that guide the eye through the store in predetermined patterns. The height and arrangement of displays are carefully calculated to create optimal sight lines that expose customers to the maximum amount of merchandise while maintaining a sense of spatial orientation. Signage is designed not just to provide information, but to guide the eye in specific directions and create visual pathways through the store. The manipulation of tactile experiences represents another frontier in sensory marketing. The texture of shopping cart handles, the feel of product packaging, even the temperature and humidity of different store sections are all carefully controlled to create specific psychological effects. Smooth, soft textures create feelings of luxury and quality, while rough, natural textures create associations with authenticity and craftsmanship. The temperature of different store sections is carefully controlled to create specific psychological and physiological effects. Cool temperatures in the produce and dairy sections create feelings of freshness and cleanliness, while also slowing down bacterial growth and maintaining product quality. Warmer temperatures in other sections create feelings of comfort and relaxation that encourage lingering and exploration. Some stores have begun experimenting with what researchers call haptic marketing, the strategic use of touch to influence purchasing decisions. Product samples that encourage customers to physically interact with merchandise create emotional investment that translates into increased likelihood of purchase. Textured shopping carts that feel more substantial and premium create associations with quality that influence customers' perceptions of the entire shopping experience. The strategic placement of products at different heights is also designed to encourage specific types of physical interaction. Items placed at eye level receive the most attention and are most likely to be purchased. Items placed slightly below eye level encourage customers to look down, creating a submissive posture that can make them more susceptible to suggestion. Items placed above eye level create a sense of aspiration and premium quality. The final frontier in sensory manipulation is taste, though this is obviously more limited in its application. Free samples, taste testing stations, and even the strategic placement of restaurants and cafes within grocery stores are all designed to create positive taste associations that influence purchasing decisions. Research has shown that customers who consume food or beverages while shopping are more likely to make impulse purchases and spend more money overall. This effect occurs because eating activates the brain's reward system, creating feelings of pleasure and satisfaction that become associated with the shopping experience itself. The timing of free samples is carefully orchestrated to maximize their psychological impact. Samples are often offered during peak shopping times when customers are most likely to be hungry or stressed. The foods chosen for sampling are typically high-margin items that the store wants to promote, but they are also selected for their ability to trigger specific psychological responses. Sweet samples, for example, can trigger the release of endorphins and create feelings of happiness and well-being that make customers more likely to make additional purchases. Salty or savory samples can trigger cravings for complementary foods, leading to additional purchases in related categories. But perhaps the most sophisticated aspect of sensory manipulation in grocery stores is the way all of these different sensory inputs are orchestrated to work together. This is what researchers call multisensory marketing. The coordinated manipulation of multiple senses simultaneously to create powerful, immersive experiences that can profoundly influence behavior. A customer walking through the bakery section, for example, might simultaneously experience the warm, golden lighting that creates associations with home and comfort, the artificial scent of fresh bread that triggers hunger and desire, the soft, slow-tempo music that encourages lingering and contemplation, and the visual appeal of carefully arranged baked goods under accent lighting. Each of these sensory inputs reinforces the others, creating a cumulative effect that is far more powerful than any single manipulation could achieve alone. This multisensory approach recognizes that human perception is not simply the sum of individual sensory inputs, but a complex, integrated process in which different senses interact and influence each other in sophisticated ways. By understanding and exploiting these interactions, grocery stores can create environments that are extraordinarily effective at influencing customer behavior. The result is a shopping environment that assaults the senses in carefully orchestrated ways, creating emotional and psychological states that make customers more susceptible to influence and more likely to make purchases they hadn't planned. The customer who entered the store with a simple list and a clear intention to shop efficiently finds themselves in an environment specifically designed to undermine that efficiency, to create desires they didn't know they had, and to make them spend more time and money than they had originally intended. This sensory manipulation is not accidental or incidental. It is the result of decades of research into human psychology and behavior, implemented by teams of specialists whose job is to understand and exploit the deepest, most fundamental aspects of human nature for commercial purposes. The grocery store has become not just a place of commerce, but a laboratory where the very nature of human perception and decision-making is studied, understood, and systematically manipulated. And the most remarkable aspect of this manipulation is how completely invisible it remains to most customers. They experience these sensory influences as natural and pleasant aspects of the shopping environment, never realizing that every sight, sound, smell, and texture has been carefully calibrated to influence their behavior in specific, measurable ways. They are subjects in an ongoing psychological experiment, participants in a vast sensory laboratory, and they remain completely unaware of their role in this elaborate system of behavioral manipulation. Part 4. The Data Harvest. In the mid-1990s, a man with thick glasses and an obsessive attention to detail began following shoppers around grocery stores with a clipboard and stopwatch. His name was Paco Underhill, and he was about to revolutionize how retailers understood human behavior. Underhill wasn't a psychologist or marketer. He was an urban planner who had developed an almost supernatural ability to read the subtle language of consumer movement. Underhill's methodology was deceptively simple yet profoundly revealing. He would position himself inconspicuously in a store and track individual shoppers' journeys, noting every pause, every glance, every touch. He mapped their paths like a cartographer charting unknown territories, measuring dwell times in different sections, cataloging the products they picked up versus what they actually purchased, and documenting the micro-expressions that crossed their faces as they navigated the retail environment. His observations led to discoveries that would fundamentally reshape retail design. He noticed, for instance, that shoppers who were bumped or brushed against while examining products were significantly more likely to abandon their selection and move on. He called this the butt brush effect, and it led to revolutionary changes in aisle width calculations and product placement strategies. Retailers learned that personal space violations could cost them thousands of dollars in lost sales. Underhill documented other peculiar behavioral patterns that seemed random but followed predictable rules. He observed that shoppers entering a store needed a decompression zone, a transition space where they adjusted from the outside world to the shopping environment. Customers who were approached by sales staff within this zone showed increased stress responses and were more likely to leave quickly. He noted that people naturally moved to the right when entering a space, leading to the strategic placement of high-margin items in those initial sight lines. His research revealed the psychology of shopping cart behavior. Customers with empty carts moved quickly through stores, while those with items already in their carts slowed down, became more receptive to additional purchases, and demonstrated increased willingness to explore unfamiliar sections. This led to the development of starter item strategies, placing irresistible low-cost items near entrances to get something, anything, into customers' carts as quickly as possible. Underhill's team developed sophisticated tracking methodologies that would make modern surveillance systems proud. They used time-lapse photography to analyze customer flow patterns, creating heat maps that showed exactly where people congregated and where they avoided. They measured the transition zone at store entrances, discovering that customers needed approximately 15 feet to mentally shift from the outside world into shopping mode. Items placed within this zone were consistently overlooked, leading to the now standard practice of keeping the entrance area clear of merchandise. The research revealed gender-specific shopping patterns that retailers eagerly exploited. Women, Underhill discovered, were more likely to read product labels, compare prices, and make decisions based on ingredient lists. They showed different responses to crowding. While men became agitated and left quickly when stores were busy, women were more tolerant of crowds and often used busy periods as opportunities for social validation of their choices. Men typically shopped with more specific goals, moved more quickly through stores, and were more susceptible to eye-level product placement. These insights led to the development of gender-targeted store layouts and product positioning strategies. Children's behavior patterns provided another rich vein of data for exploitation. Underhill's observations showed that children had a pester power zone, the exact height range where they could see and reach products. Items placed within this zone experienced dramatically increased sales as children grabbed products and convinced parents to purchase them. The research led to the strategic placement of sugary cereals, toys, and candy at child eye level, creating revenue streams built on parental frustration and childhood manipulation. The team discovered that children's influence extended far beyond their immediate reach. Parents shopping with children spent 40% more time in stores and made 32% more unplanned purchases. Children served as unwitting agents of retail influence, their natural curiosity and lack of impulse control making them perfect tools for driving additional sales. Stores began designing specific family zones that maximized child engagement while trapping parents in high-margin product areas. Underhill's research into elderly shopping patterns revealed another exploitable demographic. Older customers moved more slowly through stores, spent more time reading labels, and were more likely to ask for assistance. However, they were also more price-sensitive and brand loyal. Stores learned to position staff strategically to assist elderly customers while guiding them toward higher-margin alternatives to their preferred brands. The placement of reading glasses near product information and the use of larger fonts on promotional materials became standard practices designed to capture this demographic's spending power. Seasonal behavioral patterns emerged from Underhill's longitudinal studies. Customers shopping before holidays showed different psychological states: increased stress, reduced price sensitivity, and greater willingness to purchase premium items. The research revealed optimal timing for promotional campaigns and inventory positioning strategies that capitalized on holiday shopping psychology. Pre-storm shopping behavior showed similar patterns, with customers entering a mild panic state that made them highly susceptible to suggestion and bulk purchasing. Weather's influence on shopping behavior became a crucial data point. Rainy days increased shopping duration and comfort food purchases. Sunny weather correlated with increased impulse buying and exploration of new product categories. Temperature changes affected everything from beverage choices to clothing purchases, creating predictable patterns that stores learned to anticipate and exploit through dynamic inventory positioning and promotional strategies. Time-of-day patterns revealed fascinating insights about customer psychology and decision-making capacity. Morning shoppers were more focused and goal-oriented, making fewer impulse purchases but spending more time comparing prices and reading labels. Evening shoppers showed decreased willpower and increased susceptibility to convenience foods and impulse purchases. Late-night shoppers demonstrated the highest rates of unplanned purchases, leading to strategic placement of high-margin impulse items near checkout areas during evening hours. But Underhill's human observations were just the beginning. As technology advanced, the data harvest became increasingly sophisticated and invasive. The simple paper loyalty cards of the 1980s evolved into comprehensive customer profiling systems that could track not just what you bought, but when, how often, and in what combinations. These cards weren't just offering discounts. They were creating detailed psychological profiles of millions of consumers. The loyalty card data revealed patterns that seemed almost psychic in their accuracy. Grocery stores discovered they could predict with remarkable precision when a woman was pregnant, often before she had announced it to her own family. The algorithm noticed subtle shifts in purchasing patterns, the gradual replacement of scented products with unscented alternatives, the increase in vitamin purchases, the switch from regular to prenatal supplements. Target famously found themselves in hot water when they began sending pregnancy-related coupons to a teenage girl whose father was unaware of her condition. These prediction algorithms became increasingly sophisticated, identifying life changes with uncanny accuracy. They could detect when someone was likely getting divorced based on sudden changes in household size indicators, single-serving meals replacing family packs, the appearance of comfort foods, changes in alcohol purchasing patterns. The algorithms identified the purchasing signatures of relationship stress, increased wine purchases, shifts toward convenience foods, the appearance of self-care products that suggested emotional distress. New pet ownership created distinct purchasing patterns that algorithms learned to recognize. The sudden appearance of pet food, toys, and cleaning supplies, combined with changes in human food purchasing patterns, created clear signals that stores used to target pet-related promotions and products. The data revealed that new pet owners were particularly susceptible to premium product marketing, leading to targeted campaigns that capitalized on their emotional investment in their new companions. The algorithms learned to detect when children were leaving for college based on gradual shifts from family size to individual portions, changes in snack food categories, and the appearance of dorm-friendly products in shopping carts. Parents preparing for empty nest syndrome showed predictable purchasing patterns that stores learned to exploit through targeted marketing campaigns for travel hobbies and home improvement products. Health condition predictions became particularly sophisticated and ethically troubling. The systems learned to identify diabetes onset through increased purchases of sugar-free products and dietary supplements. They detected early signs of digestive issues through changes in fiber intake and probiotic purchases. Even mental health conditions left purchasing pattern signatures, increased comfort food purchases, changes in alcohol consumption, shifts toward convenience foods that indicated decreased motivation for cooking. Depression had a particularly clear purchasing signature. Increased purchases of frozen meals, ice cream, and alcohol, combined with decreased variety in food choices and reduced shopping frequency. The algorithms could identify customers entering depressive episodes weeks before clinical symptoms became apparent, creating opportunities for targeted marketing of comfort products and services. Anxiety disorders showed different patterns. Increased purchases of herbal teas, supplements marketed for stress relief, and bulk buying of staple items that suggested stockpiling behavior. The data revealed that anxious customers were more susceptible to promotional offers that emphasized security and preparedness, leading to targeted campaigns that exploited these psychological vulnerabilities. The algorithms learned to recognize the purchasing patterns of financial stress. Customers facing economic hardship showed predictable shifts toward generic brands, bulk purchases of staple items, and the gradual elimination of luxury products from their baskets. Stores used this information to time promotional offers, sending targeted coupons for premium products at precisely the moment when customers were most likely to trade down to cheaper alternatives. Financial stress patterns became increasingly sophisticated in their detection. The algorithms could identify customers who were about to face job loss through subtle changes in purchasing patterns weeks before the actual termination. Decreased spending on discretionary items, increased purchases of job search materials, and shifts toward bulk buying of non-perishables created clear signals that stores learned to exploit through targeted financial services, marketing, and discount programs designed to capture loyalty during vulnerable periods. Addiction patterns left clear purchasing signatures that algorithms learned to recognize and exploit. Alcohol dependency showed up in purchasing frequency, brand loyalty patterns, and the strategic timing of alcohol purchases relative to other shopping. Stores used this information to optimize alcohol placement and promotional timing, maximizing sales from customers whose addiction made them less price-sensitive and more predictable in their purchasing behavior. Smoking cessation attempts created distinct purchasing patterns as customers tried various nicotine replacement products, health foods, and stress relief items. The data revealed that most quit attempts failed within 2 weeks, leading to targeted marketing campaigns that capitalized on the emotional vulnerability of relapse by promoting comfort foods and stress. Relief products at precisely the moment when customers were most likely to abandon their quit attempts. Dietary change attempts left similar signatures. Customers beginning weight loss efforts showed predictable patterns. Increased purchases of diet foods, exercise equipment, and health supplements, followed by gradual returns to previous eating patterns. The algorithms learned to identify the moment when diet motivation began to wane, triggering targeted promotions for comfort foods and convenience items that capitalized on the psychological vulnerability of dietary failure. As digital technology exploded in the early 2000s, the data harvest expanded exponentially. Security cameras, originally installed to prevent theft, were repurposed with facial recognition software that could identify individual customers the moment they entered the store. These systems began tracking not just what people bought, but how they moved through the space, what they looked at but didn't purchase, and how long they spent considering different options. The facial recognition technology evolved to analyze emotional states in real time. Advanced algorithms could detect micro-expressions that indicated confusion, frustration, or delight, allowing stores to identify problem areas in their layout or successful product placements. Cameras tracked eye movement patterns to understand which products attracted attention and which were consistently overlooked, despite prominent placement. Gait analysis technology emerged as another powerful surveillance tool. Cameras equipped with specialized software could identify individual customers based solely on their walking patterns, creating unique biometric signatures that were nearly impossible to disguise. The system could recognize returning customers even when they used different payment methods or shopped at different times, building comprehensive profiles that spanned months or years of shopping behavior. The gait analysis revealed fascinating insights about customer psychology and physical health. Customers walking with purpose moved through stores differently than those browsing leisurely. Physical discomfort affected shopping patterns. Customers with back pain avoided certain aisles. Those with mobility issues showed predictable path preferences, and individuals experiencing stress or anxiety demonstrated specific movement patterns that algorithms learned to recognize and exploit. Posture analysis added another layer of behavioral insight. Customers' body language revealed their confidence levels, decision-making states, and emotional responses to different store areas. Slouched postures indicated fatigue or depression, while upright, purposeful movement suggested confidence and purchasing intent. The algorithms learned to correlate posture patterns with purchasing behavior, identifying customers who were most susceptible to suggestion and targeting them with strategic product placement and promotional offers. Hand gesture recognition became another surveillance tool. Cameras tracked how customers interacted with products, the hesitation before picking up an item, the careful examination of labels, the comparison gestures between competing products. These micro-behaviors revealed decision-making processes and uncertainty levels that could be exploited through targeted interventions and environmental adjustments. The rise of smartphones transformed grocery shopping into a 24/7 data collection operation. Store apps, marketed as convenient tools for creating shopping lists and finding deals, were actually sophisticated surveillance devices. They tracked location data to understand when customers were near competitor stores, analyzed shopping list contents to predict future purchases, and used purchase history to create detailed preference profiles that could be monetized to third-party advertisers. Smartphone data revealed the complete customer journey, from initial product research to final purchase decision. The algorithms could track when customers researched products online, compared prices across different retailers, read reviews, and sought recommendations from social networks. This comprehensive view of the decision-making process allowed stores to identify optimal intervention points, where targeted marketing could influence purchasing decisions. GPS tracking revealed customer movement patterns beyond the store environment. Stores learned when customers visited competitors, how often they shopped at different locations, and what factors influenced their store choice decisions. This competitive intelligence drove strategic location decisions, promotional timing, and targeted retention campaigns designed to win market share from competitors. App usage patterns provided insights into customer psychology and lifestyle. Customers who used shopping list features were more organized and less susceptible to impulse purchases, while those who browsed promotional offers without making lists were more likely to make unplanned purchases. The timing of app usage revealed shopping planning patterns that stores use to optimize promotional campaigns and inventory positioning. Search history analysis within store apps revealed customer interests and intentions. Searches for specific products indicated planned purchases that could be influenced through targeted promotions. Searches for recipes revealed meal planning patterns and ingredient needs that could be anticipated and exploited through strategic product bundling and placement. Bluetooth beacons, tiny devices installed throughout modern grocery stores, could detect and communicate with customers' phones even when the store app wasn't actively running. These beacons created a mesh network that tracked customer movement patterns with precision measured in inches. They could tell if someone lingered in the organic produce section, how much time they spent comparing breakfast cereals, and whether they typically made impulse purchases near the checkout counter. The beacon data revealed fascinating insights about shopping psychology that human observation had missed. Researchers discovered that customers who spent more than 30 seconds comparing similar products were 3 times more likely to make a purchase in that category. They learned that shoppers who backtracked through the store to return to a previously viewed item were highly likely to buy it, leading to the strategic placement of reminder displays at natural backtracking points. Microlocation data from beacons revealed the psychology of product discovery. Customers showed predictable patterns when encountering new products. Initial approach, information gathering through label reading or package examination, comparison with familiar alternatives, and final decision. The timing of each phase provided insights into customer confidence levels and susceptibility to promotional messaging. Dwell time analysis became increasingly sophisticated. The algorithms learned that customers who spent exactly 47 seconds examining a product had the highest purchase probability. Shorter examination times indicated impulse decisions, while longer times suggested uncertainty that could be addressed through strategic interventions like staff assistance or promotional offers. Wi-Fi analytics became another powerful data collection tool. Even customers who didn't connect to the store's wireless network provided valuable data through their device's constant search for available networks. Stores could track unique device identifiers to understand visit frequency, typical shopping duration, and movement patterns throughout the facility. This data helped optimize staffing levels, predict busy periods, and identify bottlenecks in store flow. The analysis of Wi-Fi data revealed the social aspects of shopping behavior that had been invisible to previous research methods. Researchers could identify when customers shopped alone versus with family members based on the number of devices moving together through the store. They discovered that customers shopping with children spent significantly more time in certain sections and were more likely to make unplanned purchases. Groups of friends showed different purchasing patterns than couples, leading to targeted marketing strategies for different social configurations. Device clustering analysis revealed family shopping dynamics with unprecedented detail. Parents shopping with teenagers showed different patterns than those with young children. Couples shopping together demonstrated negotiation patterns that could be identified through movement synchronization and separation patterns. Extended family shopping trips created complex movement patterns that revealed decision-making hierarchies and influence patterns within family groups. Network analysis of connected devices revealed social influence patterns. Customers whose devices connected to the same networks showed similar purchasing patterns, suggesting social influence and shared preferences. This data drove targeted marketing campaigns that leveraged social proof and peer influence to drive purchasing decisions. The integration of online and offline shopping created even more comprehensive customer profiles. Grocery stores began tracking not just in-store purchases, but online browsing behavior, social media activity, and even web searches related to food and health. They discovered they could predict customer lifetime value, identify at-risk customers who might switch to competitors, and develop highly targeted marketing campaigns that seemed almost telepathic in their relevance. Cross-platform tracking revealed the complex customer journey that spanned multiple touchpoints. A customer might research a product online, check prices on a competitor's website, read reviews on social media, seek recommendations from friends, and then purchase the item in-store. Advanced analytics systems tracked this entire journey, understanding how different touchpoints influenced the final purchase decision, and optimizing each interaction point for maximum conversion. Social media integration provided unprecedented insights into customer psychology and social influence patterns. Stores could analyze customers' social media posts, friend networks, and engagement patterns to understand their values, interests, and susceptibility to different types of marketing messages. Food photos shared on social media revealed dietary preferences and aspirational lifestyle choices that could be targeted through strategic product placement and promotional campaigns. Review and rating analysis revealed customer satisfaction patterns and quality expectations. Customers who frequently left detailed reviews showed different purchasing patterns than those who rarely engaged with review systems. The sentiment analysis of reviews provided insights into product satisfaction levels and emerging trends that could be capitalized on through inventory decisions and promotional strategies. Influencer identification became a sophisticated process. The algorithms learned to identify customers whose social media activity and purchasing patterns indicated influence over their networks. These customers received targeted sampling campaigns and early access to new products, leveraging their social influence to drive broader adoption within their communities. Machine learning algorithms began analyzing this vast ocean of data to identify patterns invisible to human observation. They discovered that customers who bought premium olive oil were more likely to purchase organic vegetables. They learned that people who shopped on Tuesday mornings had different price sensitivities than weekend shoppers. They identified gateway products that could lead customers to explore higher margin categories they had never considered before. The algorithms developed predictive models that could anticipate seasonal demand fluctuations, regional preference variations, and even weather-related purchasing patterns. They learned that sales of soup increased not just during cold weather, but in anticipation of cold weather, when customers saw forecasts predicting temperature drops. Ice cream sales could be predicted not just by current temperature, but by how much warmer it was compared to the previous week. Advanced clustering algorithms segmented customers into increasingly sophisticated categories that went far beyond traditional demographic divisions. The traditional segments of age, income, and location were replaced by behavioral clusters based on actual purchasing patterns and psychological profiles. Health-conscious convenience seekers were identified as customers who bought organic products but consistently chose pre-prepared options. Price-sensitive bulk buyers showed different patterns than deal-hunting variety seekers, even when both groups spent similar amounts. Psychographic segmentation became increasingly sophisticated, identifying customers based on personality traits, values, and lifestyle choices rather than just purchasing behavior. Algorithms learned to identify customers who valued sustainability, those who prioritized convenience over cost, and individuals who made decisions based on social status considerations. These psychological profiles drove targeted marketing campaigns that spoke directly to customers' core motivations and values. Lifestyle segmentation revealed the purchasing patterns of different life stages and circumstances. New parents showed predictable patterns that extended far beyond baby products. Increased convenience food purchases, changes in entertainment spending, and shifts toward bulk buying of household staples. Empty nesters demonstrated different patterns, with increased spending on travel-related products, premium food items, and health-focused purchases. Behavioral prediction models became so sophisticated that they could anticipate customer actions with remarkable accuracy. The algorithms learned to predict not just what customers would buy, but when they would buy it, how much they would spend, and what factors would influence their decisions. These predictions drove proactive inventory management, targeted marketing campaigns, and personalized store experiences. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the evolution of grocery store surveillance, and provided a natural experiment in behavioral modification under stress. Capacity tracking systems, initially implemented for health reasons, became permanent fixtures that provided real-time data on store traffic patterns. Heat mapping technology showed exactly where customers congregated and how they moved through the space, revealing optimization opportunities that had been invisible before. Pandemic shopping behavior revealed new psychological patterns that stores eagerly studied and exploited. Panic buying created predictable patterns of bulk purchasing that could be anticipated and managed through strategic inventory positioning. Customers showed increased brand loyalty during stressful periods, leading to targeted campaigns designed to capture long-term loyalty during temporary vulnerability. Mask-wearing behavior provided additional insights into customer psychology and compliance patterns. Customers who consistently wore masks showed different shopping patterns than those who resisted mask requirements. These behavioral differences extended beyond health compliance to purchasing patterns, price sensitivity, and brand preferences, creating new segmentation opportunities for targeted marketing. Contact tracing technology, developed for health safety, evolved into comprehensive social network mapping within stores. Retailers could now understand not just individual customer behavior, but how shopping patterns spread through social connections. They discovered that certain customers were influencers, whose purchase decisions would ripple through their social networks, leading to targeted marketing efforts focused on these high-impact individuals. Social influence mapping revealed the complex ways that purchasing decisions spread through communities. The algorithms could identify customers whose product choices influenced their friends and family members, creating opportunities for targeted sampling campaigns and early adopter programs. Stores learned to identify and cultivate these influence networks, using social dynamics to drive broader adoption of new products and categories. Thermal imaging technology, initially used for health screening, provided additional behavioral insights that extended far beyond temperature monitoring. Stores could monitor stress levels and emotional responses to different areas of the store by tracking body temperature variations and physiological responses. Areas that consistently caused elevated stress responses were redesigned, while sections that generated positive emotional reactions were enhanced and expanded. Physiological monitoring revealed the emotional journey of shopping in unprecedented detail. Customers' stress levels fluctuated predictably as they navigated different store areas, rising in crowded sections, decreasing in comfortable environments, and spiking during decision-making moments. This physiological data drove environmental optimization strategies designed to maintain customers in optimal psychological states for purchasing. Modern grocery stores have become data collection engines that would make intelligence agencies envious. Every aspect of the shopping experience generates data points. The weight sensors in shopping carts that track purchase intentions in real time. The cameras that analyze facial expressions to gauge customer satisfaction. The Wi-Fi networks that track device movements even when customers don't connect to them. Shopping cart technology evolved beyond simple weight sensors to become sophisticated data collection platforms. Modern carts equipped with RFID scanners could identify products as they were placed in the cart, providing real-time data on shopping progression and allowing for immediate targeted promotions on related items. Customers adding pasta to their cart might immediately receive mobile notifications about pasta sauce discounts, creating seamless integration between physical and digital marketing. Cart movement patterns revealed shopping psychology with remarkable precision. The speed at which customers pushed their carts indicated their urgency and decision-making state. Frequent stops suggested careful consideration and comparison shopping, while continuous movement indicated focused, goal-oriented shopping. The algorithms learned to correlate cart behavior with purchasing patterns, identifying customers who were most likely to make impulse purchases or respond to promotional offers. Handle sensors on shopping carts could detect stress levels through grip pressure and hand temperature. Customers experiencing decision fatigue or frustration showed predictable physiological responses that could be detected through their interaction with the cart handles. This biometric data triggered environmental adjustments designed to reduce stress and maintain customers in optimal purchasing states. The checkout process itself has become a final data collection opportunity that reveals crucial insights about customer psychology and satisfaction. Self-checkout machines with cameras don't just prevent theft. They analyze customer behavior during the payment process, noting hesitation patterns that might indicate price sensitivity or product dissatisfaction. The timing of each transaction, the order in which items are scanned, and even the customer's body language while paying all become data points in the vast behavioral profile. Payment method data provides additional insights into customer psychology and financial status. Credit card transactions reveal spending patterns that help predict future behavior, while cash payments often indicate price sensitivity or privacy concerns. The choice between debit and credit, the speed of PIN entry, and even the denominations of bills used all contribute to comprehensive customer profiles. Advanced receipt analysis systems extract insights from every transaction that extend far beyond simple purchase records. The sequence in which items are scanned reveals shopping patterns and product associations. Customers who scan produce items first show different behavioral patterns than those who start with packaged goods. The timing between scans indicates decision-making speed and confidence levels, while corrections or rescanning suggests uncertainty that can be addressed through better product placement or clearer labeling. Checkout behavior analysis revealed the psychology of transaction completion. Customers showed predictable stress responses during payment processing, with physiological indicators that could be detected through various sensors. The time spent reviewing receipts, the speed of bag packing, and post-transaction behavior all provided insights into customer satisfaction and likelihood of return visits. This information isn't just used for internal optimization. It's become a valuable commodity in its own right that generates significant revenue streams independent of actual grocery sales. Grocery stores sell anonymized customer data to manufacturers, researchers, and advertisers, creating revenue streams that have nothing to do with actual food sales. Your shopping patterns become part of market research studies, product development processes, and advertising targeting algorithms that follow you across the Internet. Data monetization has become a sophisticated operation that treats customer information as a valuable asset to be optimized and exploited. Grocery stores package customer insights into market research reports that command premium prices from manufacturers eager to understand consumer behavior. They sell location data to real estate developers interested in site selection, traffic patterns to urban planners, and demographic insights to political campaigns. The revenue from data sales can represent a significant percentage of a store's total profit, making customers as valuable for their information as for their purchases. Customer data is segmented and packaged for different buyers based on their specific needs and budgets. Pharmaceutical companies purchase health-related purchasing data to identify potential customers for new medications. Insurance companies buy lifestyle data to assess risk profiles and adjust premiums. Financial services companies purchase spending pattern data to identify customers for credit products and investment services. The most unsettling aspect of this data harvest is how it's used to modify behavior in real time through sophisticated manipulation systems that operate below the threshold of conscious awareness. Modern grocery stores can identify high-value customers the moment they enter and adjust pricing displays, product recommendations, and even staff interactions based on their predicted lifetime value. Dynamic pricing systems can change costs throughout the day based on demand patterns, weather conditions, and even individual customer profiles. Real-time personalization systems use facial recognition to identify customers and immediately customize their shopping experience in ways that feel natural but are actually carefully orchestrated. Digital price tags can display different prices to different customers. Promotional offers can appear on nearby screens based on purchasing history. And staff members can receive alerts about customer preferences and potential service opportunities. The store literally transforms itself based on who is shopping at any given moment. Predictive analytics have reached a point where grocery stores can anticipate customer needs before the customers themselves are aware of them through sophisticated modeling that combines historical data with real-time behavioral analysis. These systems can predict when you're likely to run out of specific products, when you might be interested in trying a new brand, and even when life changes might affect your shopping patterns. The recommendations that appear on your store app aren't random. They're the result of sophisticated algorithms that know your preferences better than you know them yourself. Predictive modeling extends to inventory management and staffing decisions, creating a fully integrated system that optimizes every aspect of the shopping experience. Systems can predict when specific customers are likely to visit, what they're likely to purchase, and how long they're likely to spend in the store. This allows for dynamic staffing adjustments, targeted inventory positioning, and personalized store layouts that optimize the experience for expected customer patterns. The grocery store has evolved from a simple marketplace into a comprehensive behavioral research laboratory, where every movement, every glance, and every purchase decision becomes data to be analyzed, categorized, and monetized. What appears to be a routine shopping trip is actually a complex dance of data collection and behavioral manipulation, orchestrated by algorithms that grow more sophisticated with every transaction. As you move through this carefully designed environment, you're not just shopping. You're participating in the largest behavioral research study in human history, one where the subjects are unaware they're being studied, and the results are used to influence their future decisions in ways they'll never fully understand. Every step you take, every product you touch, every moment of hesitation or decisiveness becomes another data point in a vast behavioral profile that follows you not just through the store, but through every aspect of your consumer life, creating a comprehensive understanding of your psychology that is used to influence your behavior in ways that benefit the store's bottom line while feeling completely natural and autonomous to you. Part 5. The Modern Laboratory. In the early decades of the 21st century, the grocery store stands as perhaps the most sophisticated behavioral laboratory ever created, a testament to more than half a century of systematic research into human psychology and the relentless pursuit of commercial advantage. What began with Victor Gruen's architectural innovations and evolved through decades of sensory manipulation and behavioral surveillance, has culminated in an environment of almost unimaginable complexity and precision. The modern grocery store is no longer merely a place where goods are sold. It has become a comprehensive system for understanding, predicting, and controlling human behavior. Every element of the environment, from the molecular composition of artificial scents to the neurological impact of specific lighting wavelengths, has been optimized through scientific research and continuous experimentation. The customer who enters this environment is stepping into a space that knows more about their psychological vulnerabilities and behavioral patterns than they know themselves. To truly understand the sophistication of the modern laboratory, we must examine how all of the elements we have discussed, architecture, sensory manipulation, and data collection, have been integrated into a seamless system of behavioral modification that operates with machine-like precision and efficiency. The architectural foundation of the modern grocery store has been refined to a degree that would astonish the pioneers of retail psychology. Computer modeling and simulation software now allow architects to test thousands of different layout configurations before a single wall is built. These programs can predict customer flow patterns, identify potential bottlenecks, and optimize the placement of every display and promotional area with mathematical precision. The science of customer movement has been codified into sophisticated algorithms that can predict with remarkable accuracy how customers will navigate through any given store layout. These algorithms take into account factors such as the age and gender of customers, the time of day, the weather outside, and even the customer's likely mood based on their shopping patterns and purchase history. Advanced techniques such as agent-based modeling allow designers to simulate the behavior of thousands of virtual customers as they move through proposed store layouts. These simulations can identify problems and opportunities that would be invisible to human designers, leading to layouts that are optimized at a level of detail that was previously impossible to achieve. The result is store designs that guide customer behavior with the precision of a choreographed dance. Every sight line, every pathway, every decision point has been carefully calculated to maximize the likelihood that customers will be exposed to the products the store most wants to sell. The seemingly random arrangement of products and displays is actually the result of sophisticated optimization algorithms that have tested millions of possible configurations to find the ones that produce the highest sales. The sensory environment of the modern grocery store has been elevated to an art form that would be recognizable to the designers of the world's most exclusive retail experiences. The background music is no longer simply selected by store managers based on their personal preferences. It is programmed by specialists who understand the neurological impact of different musical elements and can create precisely calibrated auditory environments that influence customer behavior in specific, measurable ways. Advanced sound systems can now create different auditory environments in different areas of the store simultaneously. The produce section might feature sounds of nature, birds chirping, water flowing, gentle breezes that create subconscious associations with freshness and natural environments. The wine section might feature classical music that creates associations with sophistication and refinement. The checkout area might feature slightly faster-paced music that creates a sense of energy and urgency that discourages customers from abandoning their purchases. The scent delivery systems in modern grocery stores have reached levels of sophistication that rival the most advanced perfume laboratories. Computerized scent diffusion systems can control the intensity, timing, and geographical distribution of dozens of different artificial fragrances with precise accuracy. These systems can adjust scent concentrations throughout the day based on factors such as customer traffic, weather conditions, and even the emotional state of customers as detected by facial recognition systems. The scents themselves are no longer simple reproductions of natural odors, but carefully engineered molecules designed to trigger specific neurological responses. Researchers have identified the exact chemical compounds that trigger feelings of hunger, comfort, nostalgia, or excitement, and these compounds can be synthesized and deployed with scientific precision. Some stores now use what is called scent zoning, the creation of distinct olfactory environments that correspond to different product categories and customer demographics. The area frequented by families with children might feature scents that trigger feelings of comfort and home, while the section that appeals to young professionals might feature energizing, sophisticated fragrances that create associations with success and achievement. The lighting systems in modern grocery stores have evolved into complex computer-controlled networks that can adjust color, intensity, and direction based on real-time data about customer behavior and sales performance. Advanced LED systems can produce any color temperature and can be programmed to change throughout the day to match natural circadian rhythms, keeping customers alert and engaged even during extended shopping trips. Dynamic lighting systems can respond to customer behavior in real time. If sensors detect that customers are moving too quickly through a particular section, the lighting can be adjusted to create a more inviting, lingering atmosphere. If customers are spending too much time deliberating over purchases, the lighting can be intensified to create a sense of urgency that encourages decision-making. Some stores have begun experimenting with biometric lighting systems that adjust based on the physiological state of customers. Heart rate monitors and other sensors can detect when customers are becoming stressed or fatigued, and the lighting can be automatically adjusted to create a more calming, restorative environment. The visual merchandising in modern grocery stores is guided by sophisticated eye-tracking research that has mapped out precisely how customers scan their environment and what visual elements capture their attention. Digital displays and dynamic signage can change content based on who is looking at them, using facial recognition technology to identify the age, gender, and even the emotional state of customers, and adjusting the messaging accordingly. Advanced projection mapping technology allows stores to transform any surface into a dynamic, interactive display. Floors can display promotional messages that appear to follow customers as they walk. Walls can become immersive environments that create the illusion of being in different settings. A rustic farm for the organic produce section, a Parisian bakery for the bread aisle, a sun-drenched Mediterranean coast for the olive oil display. The data collection capabilities of the modern grocery store have reached levels that would have been considered science fiction just a few decades ago. Every customer interaction with the store environment is monitored, recorded, and analyzed by systems that can process millions of data points in real time. Radio frequency identification, RFID technology embedded in shopping carts, allows stores to track customer movements with centimeter-level precision. These systems know exactly where every customer goes, how long they spend in each location, and what products they interact with before making purchasing decisions. Artificial intelligence systems analyze this movement data in real time, identifying patterns and anomalies that might indicate opportunities for intervention. If a customer appears to be having difficulty finding a product, An alert can be sent to store staff to provide assistance. If a customer is spending an unusually long time in a particular section without making purchases, targeted promotions can be sent to their smartphone to encourage buying. Advanced computer vision systems can analyze customer behavior without requiring any special equipment or customer participation. These systems can detect subtle changes in posture, facial expression, and movement patterns that indicate confusion, frustration, interest, or intent to purchase. This information can be used to optimize store operations in real time, or to trigger targeted interventions designed to improve the customer experience and increase sales. Machine learning algorithms trained on years of customer behavior data can now predict individual purchasing decisions with remarkable accuracy. These systems can identify when a customer is likely to make a large purchase, when they might be considering switching to a competitor, or when they might be receptive to trying new products. This predictive capability allows stores to customize the shopping experience for each individual customer, creating personalized environments that are optimized for maximum sales impact. The integration of online and offline data has created comprehensive customer profiles that extend far beyond traditional shopping behavior. Social media activity, web browsing history, location data from smartphones, and even data from other retailers can be combined to create detailed psychological profiles that inform every aspect of the in-store experience. These profiles allow stores to predict not just what customers might buy, but how they are likely to behave in different store environments. A customer who posts frequently about healthy eating on social media might be directed toward organic and natural products. A customer whose location data shows they frequent upscale restaurants might be targeted with premium food products. A customer whose web browsing history suggests they are planning a dinner party might receive promotions for wine and appetizers. The personalization capabilities of modern grocery stores extend to the physical environment itself. Digital price displays can show different prices to different customers based on their purchasing history and predicted price sensitivity. Digital coupons can be delivered in real time as customers approach products they are likely to purchase. Personalized shopping recommendations can be displayed on screens throughout the store, guiding customers toward products they might not have considered but are statistically likely to buy. Some stores have begun experimenting with augmented reality systems that overlay digital information onto the physical environment. Customers wearing special glasses or using smartphone apps can see additional product information, nutritional data, recipes, and promotional offers as they look at products on the shelves. These systems can also provide personalized navigation assistance, guiding customers to products they are likely to want and suggesting optimal routes through the store. The checkout process itself has become another opportunity for behavioral manipulation and data collection. Self-checkout systems are equipped with weight sensors, cameras, and other monitoring devices that can detect when customers are struggling with the checkout process or showing signs of frustration. Interventions can be automatically triggered to provide assistance or offer incentives to complete the purchase. The speed of the checkout process can be dynamically adjusted based on customer behavior and store conditions. If analysis shows that customers are abandoning purchases due to long lines, additional checkout lanes can be opened automatically. If data indicates that customers are likely to make additional impulse purchases, the checkout process can be deliberately slowed to expose them to more promotional items. Payment processing systems now collect detailed data about customer purchasing patterns, including the specific combination of products purchased, the time of day, and the payment method used. This data is analyzed to identify trends and patterns that can inform future merchandising and marketing decisions. The loyalty programs offered by modern grocery stores have evolved into sophisticated behavioral modification systems that use principles from behavioral psychology to shape customer habits and preferences. These programs use variable reward schedules, social comparison mechanisms, and other psychological techniques to encourage specific behaviors and increase customer engagement. Points and rewards are not distributed randomly, but are carefully timed to reinforce desired behaviors and create psychological dependency. Customers might receive bonus points for trying new products, shopping during off-peak hours, or spending above certain thresholds. The variability and unpredictability of these rewards create a psychological effect similar to gambling, encouraging customers to shop more frequently in hopes of receiving unexpected bonuses. Social features in loyalty programs allow customers to compare their shopping habits and rewards with friends and family members, creating social pressure to maintain or increase their shopping frequency. Gamification elements such as achievements, levels, and challenges transform shopping into a form of entertainment that encourages continued engagement with the store. The mobile apps associated with these loyalty programs have become comprehensive platforms for behavioral manipulation and data collection. These apps can send push notifications at precisely calculated times to encourage shopping visits, remind customers of items they viewed but didn't purchase, or alert them to limited-time offers that create a sense of urgency. Location-based services in these apps can detect when customers are near the store or in competing establishments, triggering targeted promotional messages designed to influence their shopping decisions. Geofencing technology can even detect when customers are in their cars in the store parking lot, sending last-minute promotional offers to encourage them to enter the store. The apps collect detailed data about customer behavior outside of the store, including their commuting patterns, the locations they visit regularly, and their mobile phone usage habits. This information is used to build comprehensive lifestyle profiles that inform personalized marketing and merchandising strategies. Advanced analytics platforms process all of this data to identify trends, patterns, and opportunities that might not be apparent to human analysts. Machine learning algorithms can detect subtle correlations between seemingly unrelated factors, such as weather patterns and ice cream sales, or social media sentiment and purchasing behavior, that can be exploited for commercial advantage. Predictive models trained on this data can forecast customer behavior days, weeks, or even months in advance. These predictions allow stores to optimize inventory management, staffing levels, and promotional strategies with unprecedented precision. They can predict which products will be popular before customers even know they want them. The integration of external data sources has expanded the scope of customer analysis beyond the boundaries of the store itself. Economic indicators, social trends, demographic shifts, and even global events can be incorporated into customer behavior models, allowing stores to anticipate and respond to changes in consumer preferences and spending patterns. Real-time sentiment analysis of social media platforms provides insights into customer mood and preferences that can be used to adjust store operations dynamically. If social media analysis detects growing interest in a particular food trend, stores can quickly adjust their inventory and promotional strategies to capitalize on the opportunity. The modern grocery store has become a living laboratory that continuously evolves based on real-time feedback from customer behavior. Every interaction between customer and environment generates data that is fed back into the system, leading to continuous optimization and refinement of the behavioral manipulation techniques. Automated testing systems can experiment with different store configurations, promotional strategies, and environmental conditions without human intervention. These systems can run dozens of experiments simultaneously, comparing the effectiveness of different approaches and automatically implementing the most successful strategies. The speed of this optimization process has accelerated to the point where stores can adapt to changing customer behavior almost instantaneously. A promotional strategy that proves effective in one store can be automatically implemented in hundreds of other locations within hours. Environmental adjustments that improve sales performance can be rolled out across entire retail chains in real time. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this modern laboratory is how completely invisible it remains to the customers who are subject to its influence. The sophisticated systems of behavioral manipulation and data collection operate seamlessly beneath the surface of what appears to be a conventional shopping experience. Customers experience the grocery store as a helpful, convenient environment that seems to anticipate their needs and preferences. They receive personalized recommendations that seem thoughtful and relevant. They encounter promotional offers that appear at just the right moment. They navigate through store layouts that feel intuitive and logical. They are surrounded by sensory experiences that create feelings of comfort and well-being. They have no idea that every aspect of their experience has been carefully engineered to influence their behavior in specific ways. They don't realize that their every movement is being tracked and analyzed. They don't understand that their psychological vulnerabilities are being systematically identified and exploited. They don't know that they are subjects in an ongoing experiment that has been designed to extract as much money as possible from their wallets while making them feel good about the experience. The modern grocery store represents the culmination of more than half a century of research into human psychology and behavior. It is a testament to the power of systematic observation, careful experimentation, and relentless optimization. It demonstrates what becomes possible when commercial interests are combined with sophisticated understanding of human nature and advanced technology. But it also represents something more troubling: the complete subordination of human agency to commercial manipulation. The customer has become not a person with needs and preferences to be served, but a problem to be solved, a system to be hacked, a source of data to be mined and monetized. The grocery store has evolved from a place where people go to buy food into a comprehensive system for monitoring, analyzing, and controlling human behavior. It has become a machine that feeds not just on the money in customers' wallets, but on their psychological patterns, their behavioral data, and their most intimate preferences and desires. And, perhaps most remarkably, this transformation has occurred entirely in plain sight, hidden behind the mundane facade of everyday commerce. The most sophisticated system of behavioral manipulation ever created operates as part of the routine fabric of daily life, disguised as nothing more than a place to buy groceries. The laboratory is complete, and it is operating at full capacity, processing millions of subjects every day, extracting vast quantities of data about human behavior, and continuously refining its techniques of influence and control. And all of this happens while maintaining the illusion that it is simply a boring, functional, everyday place of business. The customer walks through the automatic doors, picks up a shopping cart, and begins their journey through this extraordinary laboratory, completely unaware that they have just entered one of the most sophisticated environments for human behavioral manipulation ever created. They shop, they pay, they leave, thinking they have simply completed an ordinary errand, never realizing they have just participated in an ongoing experiment that knows more about their deepest psychological patterns than they know themselves. The laboratory operates in perfect camouflage, hidden in plain sight, boring and familiar and utterly invisible. And that, perhaps, is its greatest achievement of all.